Obviously, any questions, raise a hand or pop it in the chat. So today's call is the last of our 2024 calls for the Help to Thrive project. And today we're doing all things marketing, digital channels, including AI as well. So Mike is the person in the know. So I'm going to swiftly hand over to Mike, if that's okay with Mike, and he
Absolutely.
will lead today's call. Thanks so much, Mike.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you are all well. And can I just confirm that you can see the screen, which I think you can? Yeah, excellent.
All good.
Good. Okay, so for those of you who know me, hello again. For those of you who don't, my name is Mike, and I run a specialist tourism marketing consultancy called B2Me. I am a relative veteran of the travel and tourism industry. I've been in the industry about 25 years, and I've run a consultancy for 21. I focus specifically on supporting small and medium-sized businesses on understanding how the travel industry works and how to get the best out of marketing budgets, whether they're big, small, or frankly microscopic. There are always hints, tips, and tricks that we can benefit from, and that is what we're going to be doing today. So today is all about getting out in front of your audiences and getting noticed and then staying there. Now, this will cover a variety of areas. It will cover social media. I'm not going to be specifically talking about one social media channel over another. I'm going to give some examples which are good, but in the end, particularly on socials, it's absolutely down to you what your channel is of choice. It's also about thinking about how that all fits in to your work that you will be doing with Cocktails Tourism, and also directly with tour operators and with OTAs, as well as you develop your travel trade strategies and as part and parcel of your integrated tourism marketing approach. So onwards, we're going to start off with a banging fact. Google search is no longer the most popular search engine for people looking, particularly for younger people looking to book. I'm going to ask you if you could very briefly switch on your cameras for those of you that can, and anyone can switch off their mics and shout out to me what they think the most popular look to book search platform currently is.
TikTok.
TikTok. Here are some facts that I pulled from the mighty web, admittedly using Google. But TikTok is indeed the most popular look-to-book platform. And one of the reasons why is because TikTok has recently joined forces with Eventbrite. Now, for many of you, when it comes to booking systems, Eventbrite is not really the most sophisticated platform. But for lots and lots and lots of people trying to arrange pop-up events, Eventbrite is fine. And the thing is that because TikTok is already such a popular platform and it is so powerful in terms of its revenue generation at 1.2 billion pounds, which was raised in 2022, which is the last available figures, and this enormous number of small and medium-sized businesses, 73%, using TikTok to help themselves grow. You've now got a 50% buy through. Now, that didn't used to happen. What used to happen is people would watch TikTok videos and then they go back onto Google to go and try and find a product. Now there's an opportunity to do it directly. And that really, really matters as one of your channels. The most important thing is to say about anything to do with channels and what we call channel management is don't put all your eggs in one basket. Is TikTok useful? Yes, absolutely. Okay, but it's not your be all and end all. And it's really, really important. We will be talking about this more in January, February time. I'm going to be doing a session specifically on digital transformation, which is how you take your business from a kind of a semi-analog pen and paper based back office through to a fully integrated booking platform for those that want to do that, and moving into working more successfully and in a more sophisticated way with the different channels out there online. It is incredibly important not to forget things like your TripAdvisor reviews and your Google reviews. Okay, that they are not going anywhere. They are very, very popular and they are very, very important. But what I do want to say is, if you are getting reviews on either TripAdvisor or on Google or Facebook, don't just read them and go, "Oh, that's nice," or read them and go, if someone's not being kind, go, "No, I don't really care about them." Respond. It is incredibly important to say that Google reviews, TripAdvisor reviews are a two-way street. And the more you engage, the more you are giving back to the people who bothered to write it down in the first place. So just bear that in mind. Lots and lots of people, and I see this, have got hundreds and hundreds of Google reviews. And they will say to me, "Oh, I've got hundreds and hundreds of Google reviews." So I will go and look at them because I'm one of those kind of people that actually follows up on when people tell me things like that. And I noticed that there's no response to any of the reviews. There's not even a thumbs up. There's a nothing. There is a complete ignoring of the reviews. And so when I go back to the business and say, "Well, you've got all these reviews, why are you not engaging with them?" And people will say things like, "Well, it's good to see the reviews are positive because that drives business." It's like, yeah, but how much more positive would it be if you got a, "Dear Mrs. Jones, thank you so much for the kind words. We're really glad you enjoyed it. And yes, Emily was pleased to serve you on the day. And in fact, she did remember you and your child because we chatted about it afterwards." It really matters. It makes people feel seen because the reviewer will get a notification that you as a business have responded to the review. Same way as you will get a response to say someone has left you a review. So don't leave it as a passive thing. Go after it. Go engage. You don't need to become pen pals, but engage with them. It's a nice thing to do. So this is why really social media is increasingly important in a hospitality industry. It is the visual factor. Travel is visual. Social media is visual. It's a match made in heaven. And a stunning photo can sell a room or sell an experience faster than any kind of verbal description of it or any written description of it. And we're going to be talking about imagery in a minute. Because the thing is about social media is that it is literally, it's word of mouth, it's reputation, but on steroids. It's happening so fast. It's happening in real time. Social media amplifies personal recommendations. It's like shouting from the rooftops, but it's doing it across thousands of potential people that you don't yet know, that you are not yet working with, right? And it is incredibly important. So let's talk about social media channels in general. The choice of channel, as I mentioned earlier, it's really down to you, but it's targeted marketing. And with the algorithms that the social platforms use, you can start to target ideal audiences. And it's kind of, to use another cliche, it's kind of like fishing in a net that only catches the big fish, only catches the ones you want. So you can choose a channel that's working for you. And you can do the same if you're working with one of the big online travel agencies. So if you're working with Get Your Guide, or you're working with TripAdvisor Experiences, or you're working with any of the other ones, you can choose the channel that most reflects the kind of people that will be coming to you and will enjoy coming to spend time either in your hotel or in your visitor experience or with you as a guide or whatever the service it is that you are offering. So with traditional tour operators targeting the higher end of the visitor market, and generally speaking, these are the older visitors, what we're looking at here, with my slightly low res image, which I apologize for, is the Gen Zers, the most connected audience ever. And they are feasting on experience over location. So if you are doing something, if you are offering us something, you don't have to be in the center of town. You don't have to be in the coolest destination. You need to be the coolest product and people will come and find you. Okay. So to stand out, you need to reflect their needs and their wants with your products, and your visual language and your website content matters. And this is where your brand personality comes in. So your brand personality is where you get to show your human side. It's where you get to show your humorous side. So a witty tweet or a fun piece of TikTok or short form video can really make a brand relatable and memorable, regardless of how big you are. Now, I'm going to show you an example now of a TikTok video that I really love. Now, I'm completely the wrong age demographic for TikTok, but this really did tickle me. So if I can show you this, which I hope will work.
Mercedes. Whitelink Ferry. Mercedes. Whitelink Ferry. Mercedes. Whitelink Ferry. Mercedes. We don't have one. Mercedes. Whitelink Ferry.
So I hope that made you smile. It made me smile. You're not on camera, so I can't see you smiling. Trust me, I thought that was funny. Right. The thing is this. When it comes to social media, it can work for all the positive reasons that we've outlined. It amplifies your message and it reaches wide audiences, but it's also great for when things go awry. Okay, it's your digital town crier. So sometimes there might be an enormous storm that comes flying through Great Britain, batters your premises and means that perhaps your venue isn't open. Well, you can then use social to reach an audience incredibly fast. And like I said, it's like a town crier, but in the digital age, it's going out, other people can share it, and then everyone knows, and then you can say, oh, and now we're open again, yay. And you can share that too. So it works both ways. Now, another astonishing fact about social media is the power at which you can use it for feedback and improvement. So the instant feedback, as I said before, guests are very, very quick to jump onto social channels and leave reviews. They're much quicker at leaving reviews on social channels than they are in filling in your surveys when people leave. And you can use that, and you can use it to develop adaptations in your business. It's like having a suggestion box available for everyone, and you get to see all of these different opinions, and it's incredibly, incredibly powerful. So in conclusion, now and for the foreseeable future, social media is going to be your golden ticket. And it's not just about meeting and exceeding guest experiences. It's not just about turning every share or every like or every post into a stepping stone towards creating improvements to your own business. It's about where the hospitality magic can happen, both online and offline for you. So think really carefully about your social channels and how to gain the most for you out of that. All right. So let's talk a little bit now about how to make your images pop. So this is called moto e azione. All right, it's an Italian phrase. And what it basically means is it means motion and action. So it's effectively, it's you bringing drama to a still image. So when you think about the service that you provide, think about the imagery that you're already using. So if you are a bike hire company and you have a photograph of your bikes, is that moto e azione? Is it exciting? Is it going to make people go, now that is a bike tour I want to do? Or if you have got photographs of people herring down a track with the wind in their hair, grinning like they're having the best day in their lives, is that moto e azione? It's the same as in your hotel. There's a reason why, if you think about the adverts that the big tour operating package companies do, when they're trying to attract families, they will show children jumping into swimming pools. Why? Because it's action. It's someone doing something completely relatable. If you show a photograph of an empty bedroom and going, this is my bedroom, it's fine. It's absolutely great. And it's like, this is my very beautiful bedroom. But if you can show, I don't know, if you've got a property where you've got an open fire, a small piece of short video of someone sitting having afternoon tea where you can hear the clinking of a glass or of a china cup, you know, not actually someone chowing down on a sandwich, with the fire in the background. That's giving a greater sense. So generally speaking, Moto AI only is about still photos, but also you could also absolutely use it to heighten the sense of anticipation. Okay. So let's put this into perspective. You need to make sure that the images that you share with your social channels, the images that you share with Cotswold Tourism, or you share with the tour operator, absolutely reflect this sense of drama, of experience, of engagement, of being somewhere that matters, that will matter to the audience. So, you know, here you've got a couple of people cycling actually in the Cotswolds through some water. So that is a better image than someone standing next to their bike having something to eat. Because then what is the message? Are you eating? Are you too tired to cycle? Do you not really like cycling? So you've just said, I'm going to stop, I'm going to have a sandwich. Or am I pedaling at pace through a puddle? That's where we're at. So let's take this one step further, because another aspect where people don't really go back to the grassroots of what they're trying to say is their website. So for many of you, you're being like, no, I absolutely do this. I do view my website as my shop window, which is brilliant. But for a lot of people, they don't. And their information is slightly tired, slightly generic. It's not really very exciting. So we will be looking at content in a little bit in a slightly different way, but we're also going to be thinking about it on a digital transformation workshop. But what I want you to do is I want you to think about that sense of TikTok in words. So the content, the words on your website need to be in fact impactful. So what I would suggest is for any of you, go back and have a read and think about whether or not what you are saying on your website, which may have been written well before you started really going into your social channels, and see whether the two things reflect each other. But the thing is this, social channels, websites, that's part of it. There's another aspect of it. Now, this is something that a lot of people did during lockdown, but I kind of reviewed it and we'll talk about it. A lot of people use things like drone footage, or what I call, particularly in the hotel world, ghost doors, where you would have someone with a camera who would walk towards a beautifully laid table and the doors would magically open. And it got me thinking, in these hotels, are these doors really automatic? Do you really walk towards them and they just magically open? Or is someone just off camera opening the door? And with the drone footage, it was like, it's very pretty, but it's literally empty of people for very good reason. So it felt a bit cold. So what I started doing with businesses during lockdown, and I do it now in a variation, is point of view video training. So what I do is it's a very simple thing. You're really welcome to go and take this as an idea forward for yourselves. What you need is you need two people. One person holding a phone, just a mobile phone or a tablet, which has got a Bluetooth connection to the other person who has got a pair of Bluetooth headphones. Okay. The reason that you need Bluetooth headset is because otherwise you get loads of background noises when you're walking between rooms or you're walking inside and outside. So using the Bluetooth will mean that the sound has been recorded straight into the phone, and so you get no background noise. But the point is that what you want to be doing is filming the person on the phone. So if I hold up my phone like this, the person on the phone needs to be looking at the other person's face. And the reason is, when you're looking at the other person's face, as I move up to camera, if you can see me in my thumbnail, you're now looking at me looking at you. And that is what we want. We want this personal engagement, point of view. It's totally amateurish in its design. And there's a very good reason why the production levels are so low. Because if you then share these training videos, which need to be short and need to be to the point, with Sally and with Gemma, who then share them on with tour operators and their sales teams, it's like you're having a chat with the sales team. Even though they can't see you, they feel they are being spoken to. They feel they are engaging with your product, and that helps them sell your product. And that is incredibly important. And that's something that I really want to work with. If any of you are going to be joining me on one-to-one support sessions, it's one of the things we're going to be talking about. Because I think that's really, really important to create this low production standard, very human thing. Everyone, I promise you, everyone has got access to super high res, beautifully shot footage. Any tour operator can gain access to that, but it doesn't necessarily speak the language for the salesperson or the consultant who's trying to get the point across that they should be coming to this product. And it's the same if you're doing a walking tour and you want to put short form video out onto social channels about why people should come and see you, or you want to use that as video content on an OTA channel. Okay. So we're going to talk about the bad word now, right? But the bad word is why. The word why is not a word that you want to hear when it comes to your product. Why should I visit? Why should I spend time there? Why would I spend that kind of money to go there? Why would I do that? The tour operator doesn't want to be hearing the word why either. So you need to be thinking, am I hitting home with my messaging across the board? Because messaging is multifaceted. It's in hard format. So the instant expert templates that many of you would already have received. It is in your social channels. It is in your website content. It is in your training material. If you look at this, or anyone in your teams objectively looks at it and says, why? You need to go back and review it and amend it and make sure that you are answering that question. Right. I'm going to open this up to you. If you could come off camera, please, or back on camera and come off mute. I just want to run this round you guys. So based on what you have seen thus far, do you have confidence in your channels, in the imagery that you're using and text and so forth? Do you have a USP that you are able to use for different audiences, particularly for the travel trade? Do you have the back offices in place so that you can deliver on this? You tell me. Are you feeling confident? Silence is also acquiescence. So if you're all feeling confident, that's great. Come on, don't be shy. I won't bite.
No, I sometimes wonder about the demographics that I'm targeting.
Okay, tell me more.
I think I know my audience, but I've got a few audiences. So I sometimes think that I might not be addressing them all.
So that's fine. That's great. So bear in mind, the nice thing about working in the travel and tourism area is that you can have discrete audiences. So you can have, your sake of argument, wealthy individuals, and you can have your young couples. So your young couple audience isn't going to be attracted to the same type of materials or the same type of engagement, and vice versa. So you can message according to your audience demographic in complete confidence that there will be little, if any, crossover. So you can TikTok for a young bunch of people, fine, go for it. Because I can promise you the chances of, you know, your wealthy North American visitor checking out TikTok is relatively low. Whereas, you know, all of your Gen Zers, they're all over it. And again, with
yes,
Facebook,
I think it's them I miss at the moment.
And if that's good business for you, go for it. You can be tongue-in-cheek. You can be much riskier. I would test it before you actually take it out to market if you are going tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
But you can take greater risks. You can be a bit more upfront about your product. I actually don't know what your product is, so but we can chat.
Self-catering holiday cottage.
Okay, well, I mean, if your holiday cottage is perfect for a romantic getaway, go with that message for an audience that's a romantic getaway. If your holiday cottage is perfect for your sustainable visitor who is looking to have a low impact on the environment, then go with a gentler message. It's very much down to you. Different people will view your property for different aspirations in their own mind. And that can be based on price, it can be based on location, it can be based on a whole load of things. Some people may want to go to where you are because they don't want to see a single person. Other people may want to know where the local pub is in relation to where you are. But it's still the same property.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you want to present it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Good. Phew. Has anybody else got anything they'd like to throw into the mix? In which case, then we will crack on. You can ask questions or put questions into the chat later, but please don't be shy, because the chances are any thoughts that you've got, someone else has got similar thoughts, and it's absolutely fine. You can jump out or not as you wish. Right.
I think Nicole had a question. I think I saw her trying to speak, but I think she was on mute before.
Oh,
Nicole,
sorry.
did you want to answer a question, Nicole?
No, it's okay. It can
Okay,
wait. It's fine.
fine,
Thank you.
Well, fine. When you're ready, I'm listening. Okay. We are going to enter into the murky world of AI. I did promise we would, and it's great. Actually, I don't know if it's great or not. It's a thing. It's out there. No one really knows, and that's one of the good things about AI. No one can give anyone a really, really clear answer. Loads of people are talking about it. Loads of people are checking it out. These are the 4 big platforms. The one at the top left is one literally everybody knows about, ChatGPT. The one on the right is Google's competitor to ChatGPT. As you probably know, ChatGPT is owned by Microsoft. Gemini is owned by Google. 2 others you may not know are, one is called Claude and the other is called Perplexity. Now, there are many, many out there. The thing to say, out of all of these, ChatGPT, the basic version, is using historical data. It is not learning unless people are teaching it. So all of its actual resources are out of date. Whereas Gemini, Claude, and Perplexity are all using real-time learning. And particularly Claude and Perplexity will also say where their sources have come from. ChatGPT won't. Okay, they've all got pros, they've all got cons, but there is one thing to say. It's a learning tool, which means it's learning. And it is constantly gathering information to share with other people who are also seeking information. All they have to do is ask. And through asking, it is learning. The systems are learning. They're called large language models, LLMs, which I'm sure you knew. They are constantly learning. So it's very important for you, if you are testing AI for your business, to think very, very carefully. If you just go on to the free version of ChatGPT and you start training it on something that is commercially sensitive, it won't know that. And it will take that learning on board. And if someone else says, oh, what are the latest rates available for such and such a hotel? And if you haven't published those rates yet, that ChatGPT has been taught them, it will know. And it will have no qualms at all about sharing that commercially sensitive data. So you need to use clean rooms when you are working on teaching any AI learning tool about your business so that you can test it, understand that it works before you put it out into the public domain. And a clean room is basically it's a confidential space where the AI tool knows not to share. So it knows it's in a testing zone and that it's only available on the enterprise or the paid for versions of any of these tools. It's just for you just to bear that in mind. Otherwise, go play. Absolutely go play. See what it can do for you. But if you're going for something confidential or commercially sensitive, you may not want that in the public domain until you're ready. The other thing is to talk about is what is called Search GPT, which is a new platform, a fairly new platform. So I'm sure all of you will be aware of SEO, search engine optimization, which is the way that Google ranks information. Now, GPT and the other platforms are going to start searching websites for content so that they can then provide more useful information, and they will then rank that according to how useful the information is, how often the questions are asked. So just bear in mind, excuse me, that you will increasingly need to go back and review your website copy, because it's not just being read by people, it's being read by machines. When people ask questions through ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever, Bard or any of the other ones, the search engines within the AI, which can gather millions of bits of data in a nanosecond, may well be coming across your websites. And that is how they will seek. So you will need to think about your keywords, because you'll need to think about your keywords not in SEO, which is where people type. And when people type, they don't type full sentences. But it's when my 11-year-old asks a question, they will ask in a way that the LLMs are learning rapidly how to interpret and search. And bear in mind, the people behind all of these AI tools, they want kids who are 11 and 12, who are already completely native to this world, to be running with it. So the LLMs will be able to break down language, even if it isn't grammatically correct, and churn out a decent answer. So if they can do it for people who are not grammatically correct, they can definitely do it for people who are grammatically correct. Just to bear that in mind. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about something a little bit more old school. We're going to talk about familiarization trips, which I'm sure all of you have heard of. I hope many of you have had an opportunity to participate in through the work that Sally does and Gemma does and Cotswolds Tourism in general does. The thing is about familiarization trips, and they're super important as a way of showcasing your product, is that I hear from loads of people saying the problem is, and this is why I don't really like doing fam trips, is they're really expensive. As a business, they're really expensive for me. So I say, go on, why? I say, well, you know, these people come and I've got to throw on a private tour for them, and they need wine and they need canapes, and it's just really expensive. So I will say to you, as I say to them, who's your audience? Is the service provision, throwing on a private guide, bringing out champagne and canapes, doing a whole red carpet, is that reflective of what you would actually offer these people's clients on the day that they come? Or is it not? And more often than not, people will go, well, no, I'm just putting best foot forward. I just want them to see my product. You know, it'll be if there's a hotelier on here. You don't go straight out and show them the most expensive suite unless the people who you are showing are reflecting high net worth individuals. If they are just showing regular people around a hotel, don't start off with your most expensive suite where you've gone nuts getting everything ready and put fresh flowers out and whatever. If it's not realistic, your purpose on a familiarization trip is to show people what your product is. It's the same as when I talked about doing the point of view video. Show people what the experience is, the actual experience, not a rarefied high-end version of the experience that they're never going to get. Keep it real, keep it simple, keep it honest. That's the word about that. Because whichever route you take to market, whether you go social channels, whether you go wider digital, whether you go OTAs, whether you go hard copies, information that you give to the trade team at Cotswolds Tourism, whether it's about itinerary planning, trade events, fam trips, trade newsletters, or anything else, Cotswolds Tourism are your go-to. They are doing this on your behalf. So you need to be providing them with the right form of video, the right form of imagery, the right form of content that reflects the audiences that you want. And you need to say to Sally and the team, I want high-end Americans. I want individuals. I don't want large groups. I do want large groups. I want families. I want people who can only speak English because my materials aren't translated. I want Chinese people because I have someone on my team who happens to be able to speak Mandarin fluently. You need to be thinking about who you want to target, and you need to be sharing that. Okay? Because everything that we have discussed today, everything which we did the week before last, everything we do in February, it's all about integrating the work that you do, the messaging you put out there, into a strategy. Nothing is standalone. Everything needs to be linked to something else, but don't expect it just to deliver immediate results. If you're doing social media, sure, it may well do. If you're working through the travel trade, it will take time to bed in. Okay? It could take a year. And my kind of closing point is one that I'm sure most of you are already familiar with. It's never about the most famous product. Okay? It is about the best experience. This is about the best resonator for the audience. It is about everything and everyone seeking to do something that has taken them out of whatever it is that they call home, and they are now part of being the visitor economy. And that is where you benefit. I hope this has been helpful. I've had fun, and I'm going to stop sharing. These are my contact details for anyone that wants them. And if you are happy to ask me some questions, now would be the time. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. And Sally has joined
Hello.
the
Welcome,
presentation
Sally.
just at the right time. That's great to see everybody on here this morning, and apologies that I wasn't able to join at the start. I'll explain why in a moment, but has anybody got any questions for Mike? You can pop them in the chat if you would prefer. You've obviously done a good job, Mike, first thing on a Monday morning. Can't see anybody raising a hand or popping a question in so far. No? Okay. In which case, that's great. I'm going to give you the heads up of why I wasn't on the call this morning's at the start, because part of the sort of training of Help to Thrive, as you know, is helping you to reach new audiences and to enable you with that digital bookings, and part of all the series that Mike is doing is that travel trade journey, helping you to grow, and this is part of the marketing element. But this morning I was having to just bottom out the Riverside Partnership Tourism Forum, which is going to be happening on the 11th of February in Puckerup Hall in Tewkesbury. So I'm giving you all the heads up of a date to save, where you can register probably in a couple of weeks' time for this tourism event, which will be looking at digital enablement and wireless technology, augmented reality. We will be having representatives from Visit Britain there, and we will also, I've just secured Adam Henson will be comparing and looking after everybody on the day. So that's where I was this morning. So do put that date in your diary. I appreciate Tewkesbury's a little bit away, but we need to set the forum that can capture the markets of Hereford and Worcestershire and Monmouthshire as well. Has anybody got any other questions? No? Well, in which case, we're all busy people. Thank you to Gemma for hosting and recording. We can stop the recording now, Gemma.